I'm Ira Green from Kingsbury, Texas with Flying G Barbecue. You're watching live on the Smokin Gooder Show. So Smokin Gooder Show. I fucked that all up. Ira Green with Flying G Barbecue from Kingsbury, Texas, watching live. Ira Green with Flying G Barbecue from Kingsbury, Texas, and you're watching the So Smokin Gooder Show.
All right. Thank you, Ira, and welcome in everybody. You know, we got to get some more of those. And that's on me. I'm going to sound like an old coach. That's on me.
It's all right.
But
I thought Ira did a fantastic job.
He did a fantastic job. And I do need to get some more of those. But you can also send those in, guys. If you want to do a little promo for our show that we highlight before the show, please do that. What's up, Case? It is fall.
What's up, buddy?
It's fall. Did you get your pumpkin spice latte yet? Or how many have you gotten already? Not yet.
There's still humidity outside, so I'm not convinced it's fall. But I do hear this weekend's going to be nice.
I hope so. I hear it is also.
The rumor.
It's fall. That means cooler temperatures, hopefully. Case and his pumpkin spice lattes. And the Astros are in the ALCS. Just like clockwork, brother. Just like clockwork. How are you, man?
Man, I'm good, buddy. Yeah, no, just a fantastic. Yeah, speaking of the Astros, how great was that yesterday? And so just an absolute, almost drama-free ass whipping on Chicago, you know. And so, did they really cheer when Altuve got hit by a pitch yesterday?
Oh yeah, there was a tweet from a White Sox, like NBC White Sox, to say, "Oh, did that hurt?" And then everybody was tweeting them after the game, you know, with the score, saying, "Oh, did that hurt?" Welcome in, guys, from YouTube. T Squared Barbecues in the house. That's right, we are broadcasting both across Facebook Live and YouTube. Thank you guys for tuning in. I see Papa Joe Grilling Supplies is in the house. Thank you very much. We're gonna have a great show. We got Mike Seeley from Double S Smokers. He'll be on here shortly. But let me introduce myself. My name is Rob Arocha, and I'm coming to you from the Bullhorn headquarters in Cypress, Texas. Thank you for joining the show. Case will tell you in a little bit how you can find us on podcast. But before I do any of that, let me introduce you to my show partner, Mr. Case Hahn. What is up, Case?
Hey, good evening, guys and gals, everybody out there in the world of Facebook and YouTube, from what I've been told. And so that's pretty impressive that Rob put us on multiple platforms. So yes. I didn't even know that you were that technically advanced. That being said, if you're watching us live, great, interact with us. We follow the comments on the old interweb. But if you're catching up with us late, no problem. Whether you get it on iTunes, I personally listen to the show on Spotify. Yes, I do listen to myself. Fast forward through most of Rob's talking, just to make sure that I sound good. But it's good to be with each and everyone. Yeah, it's good to be with you, Rob. Astros moving on. Fall is coming. Texans are turning the corner, heading towards – I'm not sure what those guys are doing. And it's NASCAR weekend. So we're on a Wednesday night because we are in full NASCAR prep mode. So I hope to see some cooks for IBCA's event at Texas Motor Speedway. And we'll be up there. As many of you know, we are NASCAR fans and true diehard rednecks.
Lots to talk about in barbecue, but real quick, is that a Browns hat you're wearing, and why?
Maybe.
Why?
The Browns no. I like the hat.
All right.
Can you get a brown hat dirty?
I mean, you have like 6 college teams, and now I guess you're expanding that thinking into the NFL.
You don't start that. Do not start these rumors. That's, just because, listen, I have valid reasons for following all of the 6 or 7 college football programs, just because there's a good chance at least one of them are going to win. No, I was in Oklahoma when you were at the Royal, and I was actually walking in an OU kind of shop, and it's amazing the OU fans, how much they follow their teams in around the NFL. So they are huge, like Baker Mayfield fans. And no, it's, for people that don't know, I have a size 8 bucket head, so it's kind of hard to find hats that actually fit my head. But yeah, so I did buy a Browns hat mainly because it was brown. It's kind of hard to get this hat dirty. So,
all right. Well, let's get to some barbecue.
that's the excuse I'm going
One
with.
last one. Charlie says it's better than wearing a Texans hat. I don't
That's
know.
a lie. That's a lie.
It's the Browns.
I don't
It's
need
the
to hear that kind of negativity this
the
early
factory
in the show,
of
sir.
sadness. Factory
They're
of
pretty
sadness.
good.
Browns are. Hey, but let's get to some barbecue, brother. So I cooked the Tom Ball. We were hyping that up last weekend. It was great. They had a great time. Candy did a phenomenal job. Her and her crew always do a great job over at the Tom Ball VFW. 31 teams made it out there. I'll go over the results of that in the Bull Printing Wraps and Graphics wrap-up recap, but I just did want to mention that, we hyped it up and it had a great turnout and we had a good time out there. And, of course, this weekend there is another barbecue and boobies, two of my favorite things, kind of cook-off that are teaming up in Hempstead at the barbecue store. Our friend Dustin Stanley, they're hosting tatas. I'll go over that in the upcoming events as well. But before we get to any of that, let's give a shout out to our sponsors. Here we go. Boom. Shout out to our great sponsors: Rec Tech, Cosmos Q Products, Texas Pepper Jelly, Briscoe Ranch Cook-Off at the Crossroads, LC Barbecue, Rick's RV Rentals and Repairs, Eureka Heights Brew Company, Chicken Fried Barbecue Grind, Jay Harding and Company, Texas Oil Dust, Bull Printing Wraps and Graphics, and the Barbecue Store in Hempstead. Thank you for supporting the Smokin Good. All right. Let's go. Thank you, sponsors. We do appreciate that. We got a Bull Printing Wraps and Graphics wrap-up recap, and of course, we got the Briscoe Ranch Cook-Off upcoming event segment a little later in the show, and of course, we're going to be hyping that Tata Throwdown out at the barbecue store in Hempstead. But first, we got some Jack Daniels World Championship Invitational results to talk about. A lot of our friends, I don't say a lot of them, there weren't a huge amount of Texas teams that to win out there that made the trip out to Lynchburg, Tennessee. You ever been out there, Case, over at the Jack Daniels?
I've actually visited Jack Daniels or in Lynchburg. It's fantastic. It's a not for barbecue, but I was there. I was a tourist. Jack Daniels is a remarkable facility.
It looks like definitely a bucket list item. It's always raining over there, though, and this weekend was no different. Or I think the weekend was fine, but the week leading up to it, they had a bunch of rain, and so always bring your rain boots when you're going down there. But I just wanted to highlight some Texas teams that did well. I know that CC's, our good friend Kurt Harbers out of your town, LaGrange. I mean, not your town, but your friends over there in LaGrange. They got a rib call, I believe. Dwayne Garber, Midcoast Cookers, they got a call. Aaron Leslie, Texas Oil Dust, they got a call. I'm sure I'm going to miss some people that made up there. But if you guys know of any Texas teams that also got some calls out there, of course, Rio Valley Meats got multiple calls. They finished 5th overall in the 32nd annual Jack Daniels World Championship Invitational. BS Barbecue, I don't know. I think they're Texas. I think those guys are Texas. Looking down, Midcoast Cookers, very nice 21st place, right above Jack's Old South. And if I'm missing somebody, please correct me in the comments, guys. But shout out to our friends from Texas that made the trip, and shout out to the teams that did win it. In the Reserve Grand Champion of the weekend out in Lynchburg was Slaps Barbecue Joe Pierce, and the first place team was Getting Basted, our friend and So Smokin Good Show alum Brad Leininger out of Missouri. I believe he's from Missouri. So congratulations to those guys out there. That's a great showing out there, going out there and competing, not in our sandbox, and doing well. So shout out to the Texas.
Yeah, I think in everyone, I know it sounds like it's a true bucket list event, but for people I've talked to that have gone there in the past and maybe not even done all that well in barbecue, I think I know there's I talked to the guys from Houston Rodeo, Mike Wells and the crew that had gone down when they had won Houston, and just the pageantry and the parade and being there, and everyone kind of welcomes those teams. It's a big deal just to make it there. If you made it there, you're one of the best, and congratulations to everybody who made the trip, and especially the guys who had some success. So that's even better. So congratulations to all those guys, and absolutely, if you ever get a chance and you're in Lynchburg, Tennessee, it is just the whole facility in town is central around that facility, and it's a great thing.
Absolutely. I wanted to give that its own proper rundown and not put it with with our Briscoe Ranch upcoming event segment later in the show, just because it is the Jack, and our friends over at Rio Valley Meats did a great job. What's up, Brian, Kent, Candy? Appreciate you guys watching. Briscoe Ranch is in the house. We appreciate you guys as well. Jason, Charlie, Robert, thank you guys for tuning in. I met Robert at the Royal. They stopped us and said that they actually watched the show, so that's great. And look, it's proven right there. He's watching right now. Case, how does that make you feel? He's like, "Where's Case?" Case wasn't. He didn't make the trip to KC last week.
I was buying a Browns hat in Oklahoma,
yes,
knowing that I would get made fun of by Rob.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's get to our guest for the evening. This is Mike Seeley out of, I don't know. We'll find out. I know he's from this area. I don't know, exactly what part of town he lives in, but he's the pit master behind Double S Smokers. Let's bring him on. What is up, Mike? How are you, man?
I'm great, guys. How are y'all?
Where are you located?
I'm in Houston.
Okay, just Houston.
Yeah.
No little cases in Dickinson. I'm in Cypress.
First off, did you have to copy my backdrop today?
I did. In fact, I'm painting it right now. As I saw yours, I thought I'd go ahead and mix it up.
Normally what I really wait for is when everyone comes on the show, just for all of the trophies and the San Antonio banners in the background. Normally, because almost everybody takes time to get all their stuff laid out just right for this, and then I was like, wait, he got the same backdrop that I did tonight.
I planned it that way.
Yeah, y'all are really bringing it. Y'all are really bringing it for the show. I appreciate that. Look, I got a green light back here. You guys look like y'all are both in the bathroom right now doing this.
He's got ribbons, and I had to move. I couldn't be in front of my pantry door because I got criticized last week. So
apparently, everybody was expecting you to be in a suit, Mike, or as Brian Fox, I think that he says suite, but I'm pretty sure he meant suit.
Yeah, listen, he's from Texas City, and spelling's not his thing.
I had to decipher Brian's comment. But hey, man, how are you? Introduce yourself for people that may not know you. They're watching the show. You're an up and comer. You've been doing it a couple. Talk to us. What's the story behind Double S Smokers?
Yeah, so I'm Mike Seeley. I am the head pit master, I guess, of Double S Smokers out of Houston, Texas. It's a family team. It's me and my dad, Stella, who's staying up late to watch it tonight. Stella,
nice.
And my brother Jack, and he's up too, and my wife. We started, I took my first competition in 2017, and my story, starts kind of the same way a lot of people do. It's that I was cooking out at the hunt and lease, and all the guys that drank all day or eating free barbecue told me how good it was, and so I ended up in a competition. But that's really where my story stops. I don't have a story that I got a call the first time out and I was hooked. My first competition, I finished dead last, and it was an absolute disaster. I burned the chicken. The brisket was cold. It was overcooked. They tell you got to put 9 ribs in the box parallel to the hinge, but no one told me that it could be 2 rows. So I go to turn it in, and I have them stacked on the side, and they say, no, it's got to be, meat side up. I literally took a knife and cut all the meat off of both sides of the bone and turned it into bones. It couldn't have been any more embarrassing. It couldn't have been a bigger low point. And I wonder sometimes if that contest had just been average, would I have ever come back? But I couldn't end it that way. And so I immediately went out and started taking classes. And it took some time. 2017, we did 3 competitions. In 2018, we did 2. In 2019, I decided I either had to get in or out. I couldn't sit on the fence. And so 2019 is really when we kind of decided that we were going to give this a run. And that's kind of where it started.
That's a great story.
That's awesome.
How did that box look? Were they just
when
barely?
He mentioned the parallel to the hinge, I was like,
it was just absolute bones. I don't think I know I didn't take a photo. If I did, I certainly wouldn't show it now.
Damn it!
It was embarrassing, and I remember standing there watching the clock. I've never missed a turn-in, and I'm watching the clock, and it's 1:39 and 30 seconds, and I just happened to see a guy turn in, and it stacked 2 rows, and I was like, I could have told me that, right? And so I stacked them 2 rows and turned it in, and it was a disaster. I feel really bad for the judges that opened that box and were like, what in the world has this guy done? So
now look at
so, and I don't know how much you followed recently, but now there's a lot of visibility of scoring, and I haven't made a lot of comments, but there's a lot of people out there talking about, do you think this box should have scored this? Or so, where do you think that rib box scored on appearance? And I'm going to guess you're going to say 6 because that's the number I saw on the old interweb this week.
If they could have given it a negative number, they would have. There is no question that was a 6. No, people will be like, if they gave you a 6, that was generous because it was a disaster of a box.
I give it a 2.
And
give it a 2.
Brian Fox would have given it a 2, and again, that would have been generous because that's how I started, and from there we only had one direction to really go.
For the record, when you said parallel to the hinge, there's been multiple times that I've been so happy with the box that Rob just kind of taps me on the shoulder and goes, "Hey, your ribs are sideways, or they're the wrong angle." So I was really waiting for that. I was not expecting the 9 bones, and so this. There's been a lot of amazing stories that have come on this show. That one is way up there, buddy. I ain't gonna lie.
I do like that one.
Yeah, I've got a lot of them. I have really enjoyed cooking, and I have learned a lot. But there have been some ups and downs, and the downs I tend to remember more than the ups. I could tell stories like that all day long, I'm afraid.
You've had a lot of ups, though. You said 2019 was when you kind of hit the gas. So let's talk about what's some of your biggest highs. Where do you see yourself, today going forward? Are you officially in? You said you had to make that decision. Are you officially in?
Yeah.
Where are you at? And then what are some of the biggest accomplishments? Now that we're done making fun of that rib box, where you've been cooking a bunch, and so where are some of the highs now?
So January of 2019, I'm driving around and I'm listening to a show like this on the radio and decide I need to get in. And I go home and I draft what I titled a barbecue manifesto. And I literally wrote down every timeline, every recipe, every packing list, everything that I knew about barbecue, I put into this document. And then I laid out a schedule. And I was going to cook 12 contests in 19. And back at that time, I was cooking on an offset. I was under an easy up. And I remember I'd go to spring, early February. And I would go out and prep on Friday night, come home, and then drive out Saturday morning. And when I pulled in the gate Saturday morning, it was 23 degrees. And that was a miserable weekend. And the next weekend, I went to Diwall maybe, and it rained. And the next weekend, the wind blew 40 miles per hour. And I decided I need a trailer, right? The elements were beating me up. And so I ordered a trailer, and I remember having a conversation with my wife, who has always been very supportive of all my hobbies, and I have a lot. And she was like, "Hey, is your plan to hit the road 40 weeks a year and leave me home with a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old?" And I had never thought about it, but that certainly was not my plan. I had to come up with a way to make this a family event. And if you see me at competitions, Stella is with me a lot, and she at the time was 3 years old and is my oldest child, my daughter. And so when the trailer showed up, I decided that I was going to see if this was something she and I could do together. And we spent a couple nights in the trailer in the driveway, And I started looking for a contest in September of 19 that I could take her to. And if you've cooked next to me, I don't have the best attitude. There's a lot of cussing that comes out of the trailer and a lot of things get thrown around. And I said, this can't be that kind of contest. This has got to be a contest that Stella comes out of and that, you know, she's in. And we go up to King of the Coals in Washington County, and we go up on Friday night, and we spend the night in the trailer. And if you've never cooked that contest, it's a fun atmosphere. There's a lot of teams, there's a lot of bands, and the teams were gracious enough to let Stella come in and dance in their tent. And, you know, we drank lemonade and had French fries. And at one point, people are coming by the trailer and wanting to take a look, and Stella's giving tours. And it was a perfect Friday night. She had a great time. Saturday was the same thing. It was a normal cook. I was on a brand new pit, had a brand new brisket recipe, and I said, it doesn't matter. I'm not here to win. I just want to go home and she have a good time. And we finished the cook, and it was perfect. She had a great time. We had a bunch of candy, and we got dressed to go to rewards. And I will never forget this moment, no matter how much barbecue I cook. But we're walking to the awards. I know exactly where we are. And she looks up to me, and she says, Dad, I can't wait to get home and show Mom our trophies.
Awesome.
And
No pressure, though.
My heart sank because, guys, we had never had a call in a sanctioned contest. We were not there to win a trophy, and we weren't going to win a trophy. And frankly, I thought, you know, should we just pack it up right now and go home? And, you know, the dad and me said this is a teachable moment. So we go to awards, and all I was praying for was an 8th or 9th place chicken. It was the only thing I was cooking well at the time. And they start calling out numbers, and by the time they get to 5th place chicken, I think I'm done. Right? This is a disaster. And she starts to get restless, and then they get to 2nd place chicken, and they call our number.
Awesome.
And I hand her the ticket. She walks out in the arena. Everybody from the night before remembers her. The whole place erupts. Because it's a county fair, there's, you know, the queens or the duchesses there, and we take a bunch of photos. We go sit down. I don't get a rib call. They're going through brisket, and I get a 3rd place brisket call.
Damn.
And at that point in time, I didn't know how grand championships work. I didn't know how they were calculated. I didn't know how the point system worked. I went and sat back down and thought, you know, 2nd and 3rd call were probably in the top 10. And they started calling the top 10, and there was a bunch of teams there that I, you know, had heard of and had a lot of respect for. And I remember they called the reserve grand, and it wasn't us. And I was like, I don't understand how we didn't hit. And then they called the grand champion. And that was our first grand champion. It was the first time she and I cooked together. It was the perfect dad and daughter weekend. And, you know, I don't know what's going to happen in competition barbecue going forward, but that's going to be a tough contest to beat.
Heck yeah.
That was September of 19. That was the contest that got us invited to the Royal, although at the time we had no idea what the Royal was. And, you know, at that point, yeah, I'm all in. So what a way to start out. And, you know, she's been there along the way, and now Jack's old enough to go, and it's my dad's going, and it's a family event. You know, there have been some big wins, you know, in the mix there. And this weekend was certainly on the top of that list, but that first one I'll always remember.
That's awesome, man. And it is cool to see you and your family. And like you said, your dad is out there, and your dad's he's pretty involved in the process. I got a chance to meet you guys really for the first time. I knew of you at the time, but we met in that small cook-off out in Groesbeck. And I got to hang out with you guys and your family, and it was really cool to meet you then, and growing our relationship since, and just seeing the growth in Double S Smokers and you guys. And it is cool to see your daughter and your son out there because she is a sweetheart. She's getting to know everybody, and everybody's getting to know her too. So we're all celebrating those wins with you, man. It's really cool to see. And Case, you got a young daughter, and maybe you guys get into that kind of thing because it's definitely a family sport. It can be, you know, a lot of guys out there by themselves, but my kids have grown up in this kind of world now. They're a little older, but they did the kids Q's, and they know a lot of the other barbecue kids out there that are doing. So it's really cool to see that come and to hear that story, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's it's an amazing sport, and I've met some phenomenal people, and to me that will always. I'm amazed every time I meet someone new, and the way that people go out of the way to welcome us. And I don't know. You mentioned Grossbeck, and I don't know if you remember exactly how we met, but we had just come out of a Cooks meeting, and everyone was a little disappointed with that we weren't going to make sanction, and you just came up, and we didn't know each other. You said, "Hey, why don't you guys come over and have some beers?" And that meant a lot to me at the time because we didn't know that many people out there. And it was me and you and Jamie Roby and Robert Smith, and Stella was with us, and Robert Smith ended up making Stella a brownie sundae. And I was blown away that people were as welcoming as they were, and that people treated both my dad and Stella with such kindness. And to me, that's really what competition barbecue is all about.
That was fun. We were battling for that brisket call. You and I. You think there was only 9. Case, you came out there that weekend.
I'm still trying to figure out where the brownie sundaes were for the next day. I drove up Saturday morning. I do not recall brownie sundaes being. Robert, we need to talk. A little, that's a good story until I just found out all about this whole brownie sundae thing. So,
Jonathan Barton says it's one of the best barbecue dad stories I've heard. Cheers. Kevin Turner, I got to cook with my daughter last weekend. But she's 30 and just made fun of me for not moving a moment late. Really awesome. It's cool, man. Another one out there that really is about the family. Our daughter, Carly, just got a first place pork chop and that passes this past week. That's Chuck and Vanessa. Very cool. She's just turning 13 on the 20th, entering her first SCA. Very cool. I hope she goes and kicks all the SCA adults. But that's pretty cool to see.
She would likely beat me in the SCA.
Let's talk about this manifesto, bro. Is that the way you go about doing most of
That's impressive, by the way.
That is. And,
way to use words we can't spell. So, that's
so, a lot of people will keep notebooks and track the what happens during the contest, which I think is an excellent plan. I plan it out in advance. I've got a timeline, and I track almost every 5 minutes, and it's subject to change depending on how the cook goes, and if something changes, I'll make note. But I come back home on Sunday and readjust the manifesto for the next time out, and I've got CBA timelines and IBCA timelines and Lone Star timelines and KCBS, and I even track the brisket temperature with starting weights over time. Because, when I start to struggle, and I do, I'm looking for ways to get out of it. And I go back and look at what worked. And, I think there's certain recipes that hit at certain locations because you get from the same judges. And so if I'm going back to a venue that I picked before, I'm going to go back and look at the manifesto and see what happened there and see if I can find an advantage. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Hey, Case,
Rob, could you possibly keep up with every 5 minutes and be the DJ of Club Bullhorn at the same time?
No, that's pretty impressive. I do need that timeline though. Hey, Case, you getting a clicking sound coming from? I don't know what's
okay.
If you know what that is or not.
This is where he kicks me off the show, Mike.
That's not. I was just hearing it, and then we got a background noise. Yep, lots of background noise. No, that's pretty cool. That you plan all that out and you've got them all set. Well, most of us do have those kind of timelines out there. I'm very curious to see yours. Yours is probably broken down pretty more intense than say mine would be. But hey, so you did. We haven't talked about it, but you did GC this past weekend over in Tomball. I got a cool little video compliments of a guy named Mike Seeley out of Double S Smokers. That's you, by the way. Let me share this so people can see this little clip here. This is pretty cool. Can you see that on the screen? I think you can. All right, here we go.
All right, I think the suspense is coming. All green, cheesy, 2021.
Hey, that is really cool. Let me stop sharing that screen real quick. Here we go. All right. I hope that came out on the broadcast right there. But that was a really cool moment, man. Seeing at that point, we all knew who was going to GC that event, and you had all your barbecue buddies up there. And just seeing the joy in Stella's face was awesome. And it's pretty cool because you were sitting there. Y'all, when did you know you had that kind of wrapped up? Once you hear the second place and third place? Because I've been
Not,
there. It's
not until I heard the reserve. Robert Smith had a phenomenal cook. He is a top-notch, two-time world champion, and I knew he had 3 top 5 calls. In fact, I think you and I talked about it at the bar during the pork calls, and I knew that his brisket was going to be right there, and so I knew it was going to be very close. I would be remiss if I didn't give credit to the folks that shot that footage. My wife shot the clip from the right side, and then Rob picked up the camera from the left side. And, that was an awesome moment for a ton of reasons. But it was even more awesome when I got home and saw the footage. And, there's a lot of sports out there that we could take part in. But competition barbecue, to me, is unlike anything else. Because, you go to an Astros game and the Astros win, there's a ton of cheering, but those are just fans. And I don't have any fans at a barbecue competition. That eruption from the crowd was the competitors. And where do you find a sport where there's 31 guys and girls who have put their blood and sweat and tears and money in, competing all weekend, and, it's just a bounce of the ball, or they're at the first place in the stage. And when they realize they're not, the average person just kind of packs up and goes home. And instead, all those guys broke into cheering. And then you look at the 5 or 6 guys that are right there in that video, Jason Sagmiller, Robert Smith, Bill Breeden, Dustin Stanley. Those are world-class cooks. And they're just as excited as everybody else. I mean, I could talk all day about how good the cooks are, but they're probably better people. And you see that in competition barbecue, and you don't see it everywhere else. And, it was an awesome day. But when I got home and started reviewing footage on Sunday, it was even that more special. And I'm glad I have the video. I'm glad I was able to catch it. I'm glad you guys were there. And it was a special moment to share with the 31 teams. And that was I have a ton of respect for every single team that was out there. There was no guys that were out there just, to have fun. Everybody was out there, was top-notch competitors, and it was razor-thin margins on the whole thing.
It was a very competitive cook-off. Candy and her crew always have a top-notch event, and it always brings out some of the better cooks in the area. And then you have some people that travel in and do that as well. It is a fun event. And you're right. We are out there trying to win. But when it's all said and done, like you mentioned, it's a bounce one way or one way or the other. And whoever's up there deserved to be there. Obviously, we all cook well, but there's also a lot of luck involved. And whoever wins that thing is always deserving. And that was you this weekend. Congrats to Robert Smith as well. And Mike Seeley from Double S Smokers. That was a big time win with a big time crowd, and you're right. That was a big time reaction from everybody that was there, and it was well deserved because we all see you, winning, wanting you to win, and to have you do that in front of us was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was an awesome weekend. I can't say enough about the job that BFW does. I love cooking those events. I love to have my kids out and see their. The chaplain gave a phenomenal prayer that I had on video, and then I didn't put it into this video, but the work that those guys do, and to get my kids to see it, and the work that Candy puts into it is just amazing, and it will always be one of my favorite venues to cook. I will always cook that contest as well as the contest they put on in the spring. And it was a very special weekend to be able to be the one there at the end at that venue at that point in time.
Awesome. Well, let's talk some barbecue. We are obviously we're talking barbecue, but let's talk some you've also been one to try different events. You've done some KCBS recently. You've done IBCA. You've done some CBAs as well. Tell us a little bit about what you're seeing out there as far as differences. You mentioned your timelines. Are you treating these guys any differently than when you go? Obviously, KCBS is kind of a different animal, but mainly let's talk about IBCA versus a CBA type event. What's different in your mind, if anything?
I'm running the same recipes, and whether or not that's smart or not, I don't know that I've figured out yet. The CBA is a little ahead of the IBCA on the scoring system and getting it implemented and working through the kinks. But I like what they're doing. I like that everyone is trying to make the sport better, and there's going to be some growing pains. KCBS has been doing it for a long time, and I'm sure that when they started 30 years ago, they had some of those issues. But I'm very happy with how hard everyone is working to give, frankly, me and the rest of the cooks better experiences. And I'm excited to see where it goes, next year and coming forward.
Yeah. So the timelines are basically, I know they are still on their hour-and-a-half timeline, so that does affect the timeline. They'd also, we're not cooking pork in the IBCA. Other than that, I think you're okay to do the same recipes that you're running in those groups because we're all pulling from the same judging pool. It's really the area judges that are around there, the people in the area that come to judge. Now there's a big topic, like I think Case mentioned it, the scoring appearance deal. That's kind of a hot button right now. Have you noticed anything? Have you noticed anything differently as far as between the two organizations, or are you just doing everything the same?
Yeah, I have. So I cooked Trinity back in July, which was the first contest where IBCA came out. And I had some 10s in appearance, and I had some 2s in appearance. And I kind
of averages out to 6.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got bent out of shape about it, and my feelings were hurt. And after that contest, I really started focusing on getting ready for the Royal. And I went out to Mississippi in late August with Bill Purvis. And after the contest, we were talking about what I thought. And it was my second KCBS, I guess. And my chicken box was bad. I mean, I busted. I was cooking legs. I busted every skin. It was one of the ugliest boxes, but for the rib box from earlier, that I'd ever turned in. And Bill said, look, it's not that big of a deal. It's a weighted score. And, appearance is the least amount. If you're getting 9s in KCBS and taste and texture, even if you've got some 7s or, 6s in taste, you're still going to be in the running at the end of the day. And, I haven't studied the numbers, but I'm going to guess that's probably true in both CBA and IBCA. Is that, taste is the king. You got to hit that. Texture is next, and you got to hit that. And people do eat with their eyes, but I have, that ugly chicken still had a 9 in taste and 9 in texture, and so it wasn't the killer that it could have been. And
you're right.
I've turned in some pretty boxes that tasted bad, and found myself sitting down the entire contest. So I think it's going to take time to work it out. I mean, both organizations are less than a year into these scoring systems, and everybody's working hard. And the cooks are going to learn the game and see where it goes from there.
Got a couple questions.
Go ahead, Case. I told you that there was always wild scoring on the judging table. We just never saw it. And, we asked for visibility. But now that you have the visibility, is it something that you look back and go, well, these idiots give my box 6, and so I guess, is it now that we are getting into where we're seeing the scores, and let the comments fly. I'm fine with it either way, but now that you do get to see it, is there enough information that you feel like, man, I know what I need to do, get better? Or do you take a picture and put it on the internet and ask for social media to tell you that you had good appearance?
I take it all with a grain of salt. If I'm looking through and there's 5 judges and they're all giving me 8s and 9s and I get a judge that throws me a 6, okay, whoever it was didn't like it and that happens. If I'm consistently getting 6s, then there's something I need to work on. And, 2 weeks ago, I was in Porter at the Pontywood Classic, and my chicken finished 30-something, and it was 6s and 7s across the board. And I knew I've got to change that recipe. And so I came to Tomball with a brand new chicken recipe. And, if it had been in the old days where there wasn't that visibility and my chicken missed, and I might have thought, that was an 11th place chicken. I'm going to run it again. But because I knew it was a 30th place chicken, well, now it's time to change. And so I like the visibility. I can appreciate that these aren't professional judges. They're people volunteering their time. I think there's probably some people that do it that think I'm better than everyone else, and so they're going to throw low scores at us, and I'm okay with that. But at the end of the day, I like seeing where I ended up and why I ended up, and if it's consistently there, I have to make changes.
Rob, what's your take on it?
I won't change anything off of 1 or 2 scores or even 1 or 2 events. Because I'm pretty stubborn. I think some of the stuff is good, and if it's worked in the past, maybe just the pool of judges that we had at that particular contest. Now, like you said, if you start seeing a pattern, then of course that's when you need to take into the comments or even the scores. But that's definitely something you shouldn't have a knee-jerk reaction to these things yet. Unless you're trying something new that's completely off and you kind of know maybe you're kind of stepping outside of the box and then you get killed for stepping outside of the box, then maybe come bring it back down into the pool. But I won't change anything off of 1 or 2 scores. I'll stick with them for a little while until if there's a pattern that continues to go, then of course I'll start changing and tweaking some things. Drake has a question for you. Do you notice a judging difference between locations?
I don't know that I've cooked enough to truly notice a judging difference. And not enough that I feel confident in changing the recipes. I probably have a sweeter profile than most people, so I felt pretty comfortable going to Mississippi, and I felt pretty comfortable, frankly, going to Kansas City. When I go to the Hill Country, it doesn't always play out very well for me, and I don't venture a lot into South Texas. If I was consistently cooking down there, I think I'd have to pay closer attention. If I ever get serious about a points chase, I think I'd have to pay attention a little bit more to that. But so far in where I've cooked, I've not noticed a big difference between the judging.
All right, and then Jonathan Barton, where did you get your team name from? Who is the other S?
Okay, so I'll tell you guys a lot of secrets. I mean, I'll give you my brisket recipe and my rib recipe, but I'm not going to answer that question. But what I will tell you is this, is that my dad is Scott Seeley, my wife is Sarah Seeley, and my daughter is Stella Seeley, and the team is named after one of them. And I'm going to leave the double S at that and leave it there.
Nice. All right. Roddy agrees. Salty, 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 salty means it's salty. Man, that's the kind of comments that we need. That expert chiming in right there. Salty, salty, salty means it's salty.
Roddy. I like it.
Roddy,
I've purposely been avoiding. I've been avoiding these conversations. One of my takeaways today is I did stumble, upon a 97 comment conversation. But like most barbecue conversations that I stumble upon, I can only see about 90 comments. So Justin, if you're out there, just unblock me so I can see what you had to say. Thanks.
I got the same comment thread where people were replying to Justin, but I couldn't see.
Mike, I know I don't want to drag you in this. This is old news, but
did that bring up Justin, this comment here?
So
did that bring up Justin in your mind? Did this comment from Roddy bring up Justin in your mind?
No, I've been
salty.
I have a lot of questions about barbecue and competition. I've been purposely avoiding some of this, but Mike is just bringing his A game tonight, and I'm like, you know what? Rob will sugarcoat answers for me because he tries to appease everybody. But I thought Mike, you know what? Mike's going to give me the answer tonight.
Unblocked case, Roddy says. Bill says you're kicking butt at any location. Bill Purvis chiming in. What's up, Bill? Chicken fried barbecue. Real quick, stick around for one because I got a couple more questions for you, but I want to give a shout out to our sponsors one more time. Shout out to our great sponsors, Rec Tech, Cosmos Q Products, Texas Pepper Jelly, Briscoe Ranch Cook-Off at the Crossroads, LC Barbecue, Rick's RV Rentals and Repairs, Eureka Heights Brew Company, Chicken Fried Barbecue Grind, Jay Harding and Company, Texas Oil Dust, Bullprint Wraps and Graphics, and the Barbecue Store in Hempstead. Thank you for supporting the Smokin Gooder. All right, Mike, can you
I feel like the movie Talladega Nights and the end of the wreck scene and the commercial came on, that I feel like it was like, this is who puts a commercial break in the middle of the interview? Come on, Rob.
We do. Mike's part of the crew right now, man. We're a trio right now.
Yeah, he's stuck now.
Yeah,
you can have this job next week, buddy.
I like the commercials a lot, and the production value is going up on the show every week. I thought that was professionally done.
Speaking
which means Rick's RV finally has a logo. That's the production value.
Thank you to Dustin Stanley for sending me his logo. But real quick, while I got you on here, because your name's going to be mentioned, I am going to go over the bull printing wraps and graphics wrap up recap real quick. There weren't as many as last week, but I did hit some IBCAs and CBAs. Brazoria County Fair, 83 teams in Angleton, Texas. Reserve Grand Champion was Robert Mays from Third Coast Cookers. The Grand Champion is our buddy. Is he coming out of retirement? Josh Tilkey. Check this name out, Case. Meat Candy Q2. That's his team name, apparently. Bridges Barbecue Band and Brew Bash, 22 teams made it out to Waxahachie, Texas. Reserve Grand Champion Juke Moreno, Texas Country Barbecue. The Grand Champion is Josh Hale, Shore Shot Barbecue. And I believe Josh is an alumni of the Texas Chrome Heroes Foundation, one of their team students. 20th Annual Breast Cancer Awareness Cook-Off. 34 teams made it to Midland, Texas. The Reserve Grand Champion was Ryan Hernandez from 2D Barbecue. The Grand Champion, Cecil Gentry from the Bunkhouse Boys. Congratulations. An IBCA Halo Flight Cook-Off, 21 teams in Sandia, Texas. Reserve Grand Champion was Tim Lemon from YB Legal. YB Legal? I don't know. Grand Champion was Candace Cover from Fat Cows. Yeah, that's her team name. I'm not saying anything. Fat Cows. Congratulations, Candace. Midway Volunteer Fire Department, 25 teams made it to Midway, Texas. Reserve Grand Champion was Brad Olenek from Burnin' Money. The Grand Champion was Randall Kendrick from Hideaway Ranch Cookers. That guy is just killing it. He's doing well. Congrats, Randall. And then a couple more. CBA, second annual Battle on the Border. 50 teams made it to Ed Cook, or is it Ed Couch, Texas? The Reserve Grand Champion was T.O. Pit Crew. The Grand Champion was Smokin D's Barbecue. And finally, the Booby Q, barbecuing for boobies. 31 teams made it out to Tomball, Texas. The Reserve Grand Champion was Robert Smith from First Class Barbecue. And the Grand Champion, once again, Mr. Mike Seeley from Double S Smokers. Case, we did a cool video. You were fixing your sound, but I'm going to play it one more time because it was really cool. Hang on.
You feel like I need to see this?
I do. I think it was really cool. You're going to see it right now. We're going to do one more. Share my screen. Share the screen. This guy.
This is the production value.
This is the production value that we're talking about right here. Boom.
Mike, people have gotten teary-eyed on our show before. I really want to do it.
All right, that was cool. Look at that face. She was happy, man. She was happy, old Stella. Let me stop sharing the screen. How about that for production value, Case? What you thinking there?
See, Stella probably understands what a grand champion is. Katie hasn't quite figured that out. So an 8th place chicken to her is a big time deal because I can convince her it's anything. Stella's used to winning the big ones now, man. You set the bar high, and now you have to maintain that. My kid would just not understand if we didn't win all the time. So
when we were sitting at the American Royal on day 2, we're sitting at the awards. About halfway through, she turns to me and she says, "Dad, did you even cook this weekend? They're not calling your name at all." And she nailed it there. But it was an awesome contest and a great time.
Awesome. Well, Brian Fox, he's asking, are you aiming more CBA or IBCA? It's kind of that's a touchy question, I think, right now. Roddy chimed in. It's not about sanctioning bodies. It's about barbecue and events. Go cook where you want. Every organization has something to offer.
Lies. Acronyms have more letters. I think you should go with more letters.
How did Stella like these trophies?
She was a big fan.
I'm a big fan. I like these.
She was a big fan of those.
Those are boobs, Case. Barbecuing for boobies. You see? Boobs. So she was a big fan of that.
Mike's never won gigantic underwear, though, from the Dirty Underwear gang. Those are true.
I have not. And I will tell you that Jack's favorite team, and he is not bashful about it, is the Dirty Underwear gang. Every time we see them, he's like, "That's the Dirty Underwear gang," and he sings a little song. And so I am disappointed that I missed out on that contest because I heard you guys did a great job on that.
Well, we're gonna let you get out of here, but anything you want to add? Drake asked another favorite thing to smoke, least favorite thing to smoke.
I can tell you my least is chicken, and I don't care if it's CBA, IBCA, KCBS, but the favorite thing is the ribs, and it used to be my weakest category, and I will give a shout out to Phil Breeden and his class, and I know he's got another coming up in January. I've been to 2. I'll probably go to the 3rd because he does he's got phenomenal product and a phenomenal class and a rib recipe that has made me very successful, or to whatever success I've had is largely attributed to Phil and his rib recipe.
Shout out to LC Barbecue. Robert Leal, the American Royal was the best experience ever. They had a big turkey call. I remember that. Trumpet Masters here from YouTube. What's up, guys? And Drake says, sing the song. I don't know what that means, but sing it.
Oh, the Dirty Underwear gang song. I was intrigued. Is there a song here?
Jack does have a song, and if you guys catch him at the next contest, he will certainly sing it for you.
He left a teaser. That's how the pros do it on these interviews. They leave a teaser.
Look at that. Hey, man. Well, thanks for joining us on the show. We do appreciate it, and much continued success. Where are you headed at next? Do you have any idea yet?
We are going to take off this weekend, and then we'll be at Diamond and Dollars there at the barbecue store in Hempstead next weekend.
Very cool. He's going to take this weekend off, and then the Diamonds and Dollars. That's a case. We've done that one before. That's a fun event. They used to have it up in spring at Papa's Ice House, but now it's going to be at the barbecue store out in Hempstead. All right, man. Well, thank you very much. Let's give a shout out to any sponsors you want to do, or any shout outs you want to give, or anything at all. You know, it's your time right here, Bubba.
You know, the Sarah is the only sponsor I have. She carries the cost of everything. But Stella did ask that I give her a shout out and a wave, and so I'll give Stella and Jack a wave. And I hope they're not still up because if they are, I'm going to have to deal with their mom. But I know they asked about it, and maybe they'll catch it on YouTube tomorrow. But I do appreciate it. This was
your
really
YouTube
great.
and Facebook famous. It's worth staying up late.
Yeah, I understand.
Yes.
And,
You are. And great work on your YouTube, by the way. If anyone hadn't checked out his YouTube channel, check him out at Double S Smokers on YouTube. You can check out. He's got a lot of cool videos from a lot of cook-offs that he's done in the last couple of years. So there are some people here on YouTube, so check it out. Are you following us? Because I'll follow you, and together we can become YouTube famous and build our YouTube empire.
Yeah, I am following you guys, and I think you're following me, and that give me 9 or 10 followers. But the videos are out there, and I try to do one for every contest. And so if you've gotten a big call at a contest, you are probably on my YouTube channel.
There it was. All right. Well, thank you very much, Mike, and appreciate you doing it. And we'll do it again soon, man.
All right, buddy. Take care, guys.
Take care. There he was, Mike Seeley from Double S Smokers. That was cool. You said he was bringing it, Case.
Man, it's just fantastic barbecue stories. I think when you listen to him talk about his daughter, in mind with 4-year-old, I just think it's kind of cool because when you get to that point, a lot of the decisions that you make and the places that you go, all of a sudden it does revolve around those little ones, and to have those stories and that video and it's kind of cool, man. And Mike's got just some fantastic stories from his rib box to his big win to a big win this weekend. Family event. It's really, really neat. It's always neat to hear from all the cooks, and everybody's got a pretty unique story. Mike's got a fantastic one, and especially, like I said, just sitting here listening to it. Most of the time, I'm on the show, I don't shut up very often, but tonight it was kind of nice just to sit back and listen to it, and especially as a dad of a daughter, just to see it, it's pretty neat, and I was glad to be a part of it tonight and hear the stories.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're gonna skip ahead real quick because we already are an hour in, but he was cool. He was a great interview. He was a great interview. It was good to have him on the show. But we're going to talk about some upcoming events. And one big one that is upcoming is going to be December 10th and 11th, 2021. This is the Briscoe Ranch Cook-Off upcoming events segment sponsored by Briscoe Ranch Barbecue Cook-Off at the Crossroads, December 10th and 11th, in Uvalde, Texas.
This one's so big that I moved my world famous chili bowl up a weekend because I did not want to listen, because Texans have a game the following Sunday after the Briscoe Ranch, and I absolutely did not want to give Rob any excuses for him getting his ass kicked at the chili bowl by me. And so I actually moved the chili bowl up to December 5th so that Rob could be completely focused on both of these events, because they're both fantastic. But I got to give guys credit at Briscoe Ranch. If you're not signed up, we've said it before. Anybody who's been there, just ask anybody who's cooked it. They'll tell you it's one of the best events that you can do in Texas. And check it. Look at that money. Dude,
Exactly.
Look at the money. Come on, guys.
$26,000 up for grabs. It's going to be a great event, a CBA sanctioned event. It's at the Uvalde County Fairplex. And guys, there's a lot of concrete out there. And even I think they have a gravel area as well. So it's not grass. It's one of the best in Texas, as Manuel says. Wade and his crew do a phenomenal job. We were there not too long ago. We've done this one event, and maybe he'll have us on stage again, Case. That was fun. We were on stage doing a show on Friday night. They have a nice dinner for the cooks.
Dinner Friday night.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing, the college was out there, the video production of the awards, the trophies. I mean, when you really think about, there's a lot of fantastic events, but what sets this one apart, I think, ultimately is the details that go into it, from the awards to the production to the facility. And talk about a cook-off that really cares about the cook. And then you got a little wrinkle in it, switching it up, going to a CBA. And so, man, hats off. And, yeah, if you're not going out there, you should be. What the hell are you doing?
$26K, brother. I mean, man, that's a lot of money. That's a lot
They
of money.
were going to do $27K, but the Rob sponsorship was $1,000 for this show. So that's a true story.
That is not a true story. They also have a cornhole tournament out there. If you guys are into cornhole, they've got a cornhole tournament that's going to be on Saturday. Cash and prizes 1st through 5th. It's going to be a big time. $80 per team. Starts at 10 a.m. There's an advanced division that starts at 10. Then the open, which is also 80 per team, starts at 1. Man, lots of money.
I just want to be there. We'll probably try to broadcast live just so I can identify the advanced cornholers.
Don't be telling our secrets, Case. Come on. And if anybody's out there watching that's going to be there that can throw a little bags, hit me up. I can
if you're an advanced cornholer, I need to know. Put it in the comment that, hey,
we'll definitely
Brian
be in
Fox,
the open.
Brian Fox, are you an advanced cornholer?
We'll definitely be in the open. I saw some of them teams out there at the last cook-off, and they're serious, brother. They got team shirt. I mean, they're just like us. They're we got the barbecue competitors and the guys out there that take it real serious. They also have.
I watch on ESPN. It's sponsored by Johnsonville Brats. That's my kind of sporting event.
Somebody said they're getting good. Well, let's go. Let's go to Uvalde and compete in the open. I will not be doing the advanced. That's for
you're not an advanced cornholer.
No, terrible. But thanks to Wade and his crew. Thanks to Wade and his crew for sponsoring this segment. But man, we've got some lots of barbecue events coming up again. This is the fall. Cooler weather's coming. It's a good time to be out and about. Checking out the IBCA schedule right here for tomorrow or for this weekend. Big one, Texas Motor Speedway. It's a Friday event. I know Robert Smith's going out there. That's at the racetrack at the Texas Motor Speedway. It is a Friday event. You have to, once you're in for the entire weekend through the races through Sunday. So don't think you're going to be able to leave. But that seems like a really fun event. You get an infield spot for the entire race. Trace, do you know a little bit about that one?
Yeah. So anybody traveling up to Texas Motor Speedway, the infield camping. So they did open. So the infield camper existing infield Texas Motor Speedway camping. They're actually invited also into this cook-off event. They've got just a fantastic. Obviously the track is so everybody understands the track at Texas Motor Speedway is the exact same size track as Kansas. So when you get an idea for the size and so where the Royals held, Texas Motor Speedway is the exact same size, and they'll have an event there. Pit Boss is a big sponsor of NASCAR, and a winner. Sounds like they'll announce the winners on Big Hoss TV, which is the world's largest television. There was a rumor that when the Texans put in their video board and the Cowboys, they actually added on to it. So that is the Guinness Book of World Records, world largest television. So a couple news and notes for all us Texas Motor Speedway season ticket holder members like myself. So I'll be out there. My family will be rolling up Friday morning, not cooking, but we'll be looking to see a bunch of barbecue family that's there, along with NASCAR fans that we go see. So,
all right. Go for the big scoreboard. Stay for the big event. October 15th, Benbrook Chamber of Commerce in Benbrook, Texas. El Dorado Chevrolet Guns and Hoses in McKinney. Falls City Lions Club in Falls City, Texas. All this coming up this weekend. Hill Country State Championship in Lockhart. That's the
it's like an 18-foot trophy for that one.
Yeah, Big Bertha making a reappearance. That's going to be in Lockhart, Texas. Hill Country State Barbecue State Championship. The inaugural Grills and Wheels Memorial Barbecue Cook-Off and Car Show in Eagle Pass. The Rosevine Grave Hill Benefit in Bronson. I think that's going to – and we got a Columbus, Texas. It's not the one we know of, but it's the TOWA 2021.
This one's in Charles Bend.
What does TOWA stand for?
What do we know about TOWA? So
2021.
I think that's the one at the Charles Bend. I think that's the one at the Charles Bend Social Club.
All right. We've got the Billy Leo Foundation in La Joya, Texas CBA event October 16th this weekend. And the one that Bullhorn Barbecue will be at the Tata Throwdown, Qin for Boobies in Hempstead, Texas, over at the barbecue store. Dustin, Stanley, and crew are holding an event out there. There's still plenty of room. If anyone's been out to the barbecue store, there's lots of room out there. So contact Dustin and Rhonda.
I looked at Texas Motor Speedway's weather. It looks like it's going to be a fantastic weekend at Texas Motor Speedway. I think we'll have really nice weather down here also. So it looks like it's a fantastic weekend weather-wise. I think it's going to be a good one all over the state. It's going to be cool, actual true fall-type temperatures. I think the overnights at Fort Worth were going to be in the 40s. So fall might be here. So we'll see.
All right. And that upcoming event segment sponsored by the Briscoe Ranch Cook-Off. Coming up, guys, again, December 10th and 11th in Uvalde, Texas at the Uvalde County Fairplex and Cornhole Tournament. That's going to be coming up. That'll be a good one. Remember last time it was snowing last time we went up there. We'll see if that happens again. Let's hope not, but actually
that was pretty wild. Driving out there, I remember we were like 4-year-olds playing in the snow. So
that was fun. So before we wrap this up, let's give one more shout out to our great sponsors, and then we'll shout out to our great sponsors: Rec Tech, Cosmos Q Products, Texas Pepper Jelly, Briscoe Ranch Cook-Off at the Crossroads, LC Barbecue, Rick's RV Rentals and Repairs, Eureka Heights Brew Company, Chicken Fried Barbecue Grind, Jay Harding and Company, Texas Oil Dust, Bullprint Wraps and Graphics, and the Barbecue Store in Hempstead. Thank you for supporting the Smokin Gooder Show. Yes, thank you very much, and thanks for sticking around with us. I know we started an hour later than we normally do, and it's a school night and a work night and whatnot. We're past 10 o'clock, but thank you guys for that are still watching. Thank you for tuning in. Of course, you can replay this whenever you want on our Facebook and YouTube channels. Case, you got anything else you want to add before we get out of here, Bubba?
No, man, good luck to sounds like a lot of fantastic events this weekend. Great weather, barbecues. Find a place to go smoke. If you're going to be at Texas Motor Speedway, man, hit me up. I think I told Dennis that I would take him to Babe's Chicken House. And so if you are going to be at Texas Motor Speedway, be sure to, man, let us know. Let me know. Shoot me a message. Love to see a bunch of the barbecue family. Along with my family, we'll be up there for race weekend. As long, God willing, we get going Friday morning, get up there safely, and we hope to see a bunch of people enjoy NASCAR. Or if you're cooking from Big Bertha to NASCAR to Hempstead, there's a lot of fantastic events to hit up this weekend.
Is that a actual chicken place, or is it like a chicken house?
Babes,
like Marvin Zindler broke up back in the day.
No, this is a family-friendly chicken house.
Just wanted to.
Have you never been to Babes?
I've never been to Babes.
Have you never been to Babes?
I've been to Babes, but I don't think it's the same place.
I gotta take you. You gotta
take me. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Case, let's close this out, Bob.
Absolutely. Good luck to everybody traveling this weekend. Even if the judges manage to give you a 6 in appearance, smile about it. Put it on Facebook. We'll tell you you're a champ anyway. And so enjoy Barbecue Nation. Enjoy hanging out. Awesome time with Mike tonight. Rob, good to see you, brother. And hope to see you at a tailgate soon. Good luck to all the cooks this weekend. Safe travels. Good night, Barbecue Nation. You too, you crazy Californians.
There it is. We're going to wrap it up. Hopefully we'll say your name next week on the show. Good luck, everybody. See you next week.